Welcome to the after church tea time. Sermon about compassion. I'm Adam.
I'm Brienne.
And we'll let all the others introduce themselves.
Yeah.
I'm Yoreen.
I'm Leanna.
I'm Callie.
Who would like to start sharing today?
Well, why don't you go first?
Well, I was like, just kind of,
Yeah.
Do you have something to share?
Yeah, we can go first.
Okay.
Yeah, I really enjoyed today's sermon. It was like timely and spot on. Yeah, the one piece that really stood out to me was what Ajahn said in the very beginning, that compassion is the cornerstone of Christ consciousness. I don't know why that just like really struck me. That was beautiful. Yeah, I love like all the points that Ajahn touched on in the sermon, like talking about his relationship like with animals, how some animals just, didn't want to receive Ajahns help, and just having compassion for where they're at. And that speaks to like, humans and animals and all of God's creations. And also too, he touched on having compassion for his parents, for the way that they raised him, and knowing that, they raised Ajahn the way that they were raised, right? That was like that's like what they were taught. And like Ajahn, making a choice to transcend that and having compassion for his parents, right? And that's like the most loving thing that you can do, is just having compassion for, all human beings and all of God's creations, because we're all on our own unique journey, right? And yeah, like God teaches me about compassion every day. Like I'm constantly going deeper into compassion for myself so that I can extend that, to others. Like I know Adam and I, on our own healing journey, we're very hard on ourselves, like very something that we're constantly healing through. And so I remind myself every day just to have compassion for myself and know that it's a healing journey and there's steps to be taken. It's a process. And
Yeah, I find that every time like we do inner work, it's like our compassion cup needs to be filled up a whole lot. It's a deep cup right there. Yeah, but what you were saying there about his parents and how they were raising him, I find myself lately having like more compassion for my mom, even though we had like an interesting time in my upbringing, but just seeing how everything is like a mirror, right? Like we're projecting and all this stuff. So it's like just having compassion and what Ashen said, forgive them, they don't know what they do. Yeah, we've all just lived our lives as as we thought we were supposed to, or we were raised, or so it's just having compassion for everyone. And we're trying to do this life. Yeah.
Yeah, I can definitely relate to what you said. One of the things that struck me also when Ajahn started the sermon is that you have to extend compassion to yourself first, and extend love to yourself and kind of fill your cup. And yeah, when I first watched the sermon, it was to do the intro and outro videos, and at first I was like, yeah, compassion like is a key element of the universe of our relationships with others. And when he said that, I realized that, oh, I was kind of forgetting myself to count myself in that equation, And yeah, it was really important, a really good reminder that compassion is also for ourselves, and we have to be compassionate and kind of accept where we are at on our journey and being okay with that, instead of being hard on ourselves and and kind of lash out and be strict.
Yeah, what
Yeah,
I
I wanted
love.
to share. Oh, go ahead.
What I love most at the end, that's you're the most powerful if you're at peace. If you feel compassion for yourself, then you're the most powerful in the room. Yeah, that's very beautiful. And yeah, also that's compassion for yourself first. And that's something I've been learning a lot myself, to the point like I was to the very end that was very hard on myself, and then I had no other choice to feel compassion. And yeah, it feels really peaceful and just like, yeah, it is just peace and deep love, like you said too. Just, yeah.
Yeah, I wanted to share too. Like, I tend to be really hard on myself on my journey. Like, so for me, my issue is about not seeing um, how much I, had progress in my life. So, you know, and for me, when Arjun was talking about the animals and stuff, I kind of have a turtle, and she, in the beginning, she didn't want to have any kind of relationship with me. Like, I was like almost for a month just feeding her, just like she wants to be left alone. So I'm just going to leave her alone and just, give her food. And then only now, after all these months, she's like starting to look at me and come to me, like waiting for the food. She is not like afraid anymore or hiding anymore, and really about releasing the attachment, like, and look, seeing yourself that there's nothing wrong with you. Like, you don't need to force your love into someone else. You just, give to love, and if there is resistance, you just like, that's okay, you went there, you love there, and you just let it go. And if something changes, that's okay. And yeah, for me, it's really about that, like surrender as well to the process. I tend to be really hard on myself because I want things fast, but at the same time, I need to surrender to the process, and that's okay, whatever I'm learning right now, and it's okay to be compassionate about how long
You kind of get out.
Frozen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Very passionate about this compassion. Yeah. So it seems like there's a common theme, like we're all touching on, is that we've all had like a pattern of being hard on ourselves, right? I feel like this is very common in, everyone's journey, like, just judging themselves. And what's that saying? Like we are our own worst critic or something like that. Critic. Yeah. Yeah. But we're changing that, right? We're ending our relationship with that energy and just having compassion for ourselves.
Yeah, it's a journey, right?
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, as long as we're choosing it, I guess that's the best way forward. Yeah, definitely in the process of healing that. Sure.
Yeah, and I love what Leanna was saying too, that you were communicating that you were being hard on yourself, and you just kept doing that to the point to where you had nowhere to go, right? That you had to choose compassion for yourself, because we're just going to continue to experience contrast until we make a new choice, right? And your choice was just, okay, I choose to love myself here, right? I choose compassion. Yeah.
Yeah, and I feel like this is something not many people have learned at their, how they grew up or school. Nobody has actually learned this. And yeah, for me, I had to learn it through contrast or like experience that I just had to break through to really feel that feeling. And I didn't know what it meant at first and how it felt like or anything. So yeah, it's really something I feel that everyone should could open up to, and it's safe to learn that because it's very new for us, most of us.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Another thing that I'm noticing is that the collective is also working towards having compassion for their parents. And for me, like, this is a big, big theme because growing up and having strict parents meant that I kind of internalized the pressure that they would put on themselves and on their environment, me included. And I realized that even though I thought that I didn't want to be like my mother, for example, or act like her, I kind of found myself having these patterns that I learned when I was little. And I'm now realizing, or step by step that I need to have compassion for myself there. So I need to just kind of relax and not be so harsh on myself, not be so strict, and also be compassionate with her because I just know that she didn't know any better, and that she did the best that she can, and overall, she still loved me and gave me all the tools that I needed to start with life, and that now it is my turn to, like, take the torch and do my own journey and grow from there. It requires a lot of kindness towards myself to accept that maybe I need to outgrow this situation and grow up and be patient, you know.
Yeah, it feels good. I think Ashen touched on this as well. And when you were talking, Irene, it's like this ends with us, the ones that are doing this work. Like, we don't need to, keep the cycle going, right, with our kids or, in our environment. So it feels very good having that.
Yeah, it feels very powerful.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I resonate with you, Yoreen. My parents were strict as well, especially my mom. And similar experience as you. And I've really, like, throughout my spiritual journey, just really been healing that. And the pattern of me being hard on myself and so, like, strict and just not kind, because you mentioned kindness too, like having a lot of kindness for yourself. I've been choosing to go deeper there as well. And I just, like, Jeff and Shaleia keep popping into my consciousness right now, but, like, and coming into this school and being a student of theirs, they've continuously shown me, like my true spiritual parents, like, what it means to have compassion for oneself and another. And just, like, always going deeper into that. And they're just like I don't know what I'm trying to say. Like,
well, they were the ones who showed you how to do that, right? When your mom
right.
could not, right?
Exactly. So it's I'm stuck.
Okay.
I had a point. I was making a point, but
well, maybe we'll come back to
Yeah.
it. So
What to make you think about is the spiritual masters that inspired this movement, and Jeff and Shaleia. They really showed us the way of how to treat ourselves, and also I'm realizing that if God doesn't treat me that way, why would I treat myself that way? You know, and kind of look at my relationship with myself and God and be honest about where I could go, where it could go better, where it could improve, and yeah, I have this kind of feeling of relief that I am shown the perfect way to do that, and that compassion is just like the key chain between everything. That's what ultimately I think that's what keeps us as one. Like, you know, that's what makes us one. It's like the compassion that you find in this unconditional love. Like one cannot go without the other. And it's really beautiful to think about it that way.
Absolutely. Yeah, I was thinking like, how do we use compassion when we're receiving hate and, you know, people coming at you and sharing lies and stuff? Like, how do we use compassion then?
Standing up for ourselves, speaking our truth, right? Yeah.
Yeah, first to yourselves, like not going into the hate and thinking they're right in some way. So always like love yourself first, see the truth with yourself first. And that's when you learn compassion, that you then know what is true. And then, yeah, then you can have these compassionate boundaries and standing up for yourself. But always from peace. So,
amen.
Yeah.
Peace is key. Yes.
Yeah. I think, oh, I have a blank. Yeah, I think it's about not responding by fire, you know. People are like attacking through fire, and you need to just respond from a place of peace. Just do your inner work as you go, and also knowing where is the limit, like to extending your love. Where is it transforming into just like extending your energy and just exhausting yourselves? And I think that's why like compassion towards another cannot go without compassion towards ourselves, because like Eugene said, like if your cup isn't filled, you can interact with people that way. And also what he said was really important, like it is not your job to save someone. And so kind of knowing where your mission is and where God takes the lead, where is God's job.
God do his job too.
Back, Charlie.
Charlie's back. Oh, he's freezing again. Well, I seen like right before we came on here, like a Church of Union meme that was just I thought it was pretty perfect for this. Let me just see if I can find it real quick. The best fighter is never angry. Lao Tzu. Thought that was perfect for this. Like what you said, Liana, as well. Like, yeah. Staying in peace and yeah. Love warriors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Mhm.
Yeah, and what Yoreen was saying too, like just being very present, like, in that place of peace and with your feelings, and knowing where, okay, I've loved completely here, right? And then allowing God to just direct your attention, right? Just surrendering to that flow. Yeah, when you're like standing in your truth and you're speaking from that place, and yeah, just sharing love with others. And
Yeah, I mean, people who are open are going to see that.
yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, and that feels very gentle too.
Mhm.
And it's reminding me of the comparison that Ocean made with the baby. You know,
Yeah.
I think that's a lesson that was said in one of the TFAS classes as well. But like, yeah, you can't expect from a baby that it walks like on the first day, or that it goes dancing and running just after he has learned about walking. And so, yeah, what I mean to say is that even though you make a choices like you to change your life, to improve, you have to also have the compassion to see that it will not be like the results will not be instant, and that it's okay uh, to be patient with yourself and with others. And I think it's introducing even more respect into our relationships with ourselves and with others. Like the fact that we know, like, okay, this is his choice, and even if he's made the choice to follow the truth and follow God, like this is not gonna be something that will change in his life like overnight, and that's okay, you know.
Yeah, I feel like this is something a lot of people get caught up on while they're, on their spiritual journey, their ascension journey, is you're working towards what your heart desires, and you're manifesting these beautiful things in your life, but you're like, where is it? Where is it? I'm not doing enough. Like I'm not doing it quick enough. But yeah, like you said, Yoreen, just being patient with yourself, and just fully surrendering to the process, and knowing that the step that is in front of you is the step that's required to move forward, right? And just having compassion for where you're at, and patience for yourself.
Yeah, it's like what we talked about the other day about like the healing work. Sometimes it looks like a mountain,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
you don't focus on that. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the little step in front of you.
Uh-huh.
That's all you have to look at.
Exactly. Yeah.
And I find myself being caught up in that energy too of impatience. I'm not really someone that is patient by nature. So I think this is a big lesson for me. And honestly, I'm grateful to have that lesson right now. But I wanted to ask like you guys, whoever feels up to speak, like what do you do when you're kind of caught up in that space of like, oh my God, nothing is moving. This is too hard. What do I do?
I'm just being present with what I've been often in this place, but then I am present with how I feel and what's happening in that moment around me. So the feeling of it's too hard is like when you think about a goal or a result somewhere in the future, or something you haven't reached yet, and it helps for me to just focus back on what I already have, or what's around me, what's already inside me. And that brings me a lot of peace for me.
Yeah, I do the same as Leanna. When I'm feeling, impatient with myself or my journey, yeah, I just choose to be present, right? Because if you're feeling impatient, you're out of the present moment, right? And so I choose to be present with myself now, and just being with the peace that's in my heart. The kind of like the upset or the impatience just dissolves away, right? And you feel very grounded and centered. So it's just for me, making a new choice in that moment. And as I move forward and, I can consistently make that new choice, I deepen into my presence. And that's like where, that's where your happiness and your joy is found.
Yeah, there's only the present moment, right? And I feel like a lot of us are wanting to just like, oh my God, this thing never goes away. Like, the knowing that you're right where you need to be and just like relaxing into the moment. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I feel especially when we're so hard on ourselves and like, that's just what's needed. Just like, it's okay. I'm right where I need to be. Take a breath. That's the best advice. Just
we're eternal beings. Like there's nowhere to get to. Like here we are. So we might as well like just relax and enjoy the moment and just follow God.
Yeah, and like take a look at like how far you came, right? Like give yourself a pat on the shoulder and like, you know what? This is pretty good. Yeah. Just where I was like, a month from, like where I was a month ago or 6 months ago or a year, it's pretty good.
Yeah, even like, on the Ascension journey and doing the mirror work, like we shift and change at a rapid pace. Mm-hmm. Like you guys can probably all look back, like Adam said, a month ago, and like you've changed so much just in that short amount of time. Like, just honor yourself and love yourself where you're at. Yeah.
Acceptance comes in here as well.
Yes.
Self-acceptance.
Yeah.
Ooh. You see. Yeah.
I want to hear about Charlie. What was a moment of the sermon that you liked?
Well, definitely about having compassion for myself and not judge myself, because this is my lesson right now. Like, it's raining pretty hardcore here, and my power ran out. So for me, it's just like being patient. And actually, everything that Ajahn is spoken in the sermon. I related to a lot in every area of my life. It's just like, don't judge yourself and find peace within, and you just be compassionate with your journey. You are perfect already, and you just keep going.
That's the thing. Keep going.
Yeah.
Keep swimming.
Yeah. Exactly what Charlie's doing right now. He's like, my power went out. I'm not going to let it get me down. I'm going to have compassion for myself and move forward here.
I tend to be this way, to be honest. I always find a way to keep moving.
Yeah. There's always a way forward.
There's something else in the sermon that's touched me. I don't remember how it was said, but there's also something as extending too much love or the savior complex, which I had as well. And lately had actually received what that meant, because if you're working on something and someone is trying to love you or giving you too much love, then it's also feeling really bad, even if it's intended like in a good way. So yeah, that's for me also a lesson in being compassionate, just letting people learn their lessons and not trying to save them or solve their problems for them and all these things. So, yeah, it's sometimes just compassionate to let people just be. Give your love in another place. Just, yeah, whatever feels right to you. And that you're not taking from yourself in any way.
So true. Yeah.
Go leak out that compassion for yourself, cup, you know. If you're giving too much other places where you shouldn't be. So.
Yeah. How about you, Yoreen? I think like you asked all of us a question, but what about you? What do you do when you're feeling I think the question was like impatient with yourself, or yeah.
I think I'm just like, I think it's about presence as well. Like when I'm feeling impatient is oftentimes where I am asked to kind of rest and meditate and do inner work instead of having like doing really active things in my day. And yeah, I think it is about respecting that I need this rest, and that it is part of like being active, just not in the same way than working a 9-to-5 job, or yeah. And yeah, I'm just learning that my inner work is so much easier when I surrender into that space. And that I really, when I'm right there, I really don't think about like the past or the future. I don't really think that the things I was impatient about really matter just for a moment. Right.
What else was it about? I think it was something also Ashen said about yeah, if you know, use all your money on feeding the poor and homeless, right? Like what's that quote from A Course in Miracles you'd like to share?
Yeah, I'm not gonna say it correctly, like but there's a Course in Miracles, something that I read one time that just always really stood out to me. But what you're talking about is the one where basically along the lines of, if you see someone that is experiencing poverty, you can't or making yourself poor or experiencing or choosing to experience poverty with them is not going to help them, right? It's not going to help bring them up out of that state. Or it's the same as someone that's experiencing like a disease or sickness, right? You can't choose to experience that for yourself to help them come out of that disease or help them heal that sickness. But what you can do is choose to heal yourself, or choose and claim your abundance and show them the way out of it by bringing yourself up out of it. And that's like the most compassionate thing that you could do for yourself and your brothers and sisters, is like help lead the way out of that state of being.
Yeah, and also see them as healed or
True,
as
yeah.
abundant or
seeing them in their true divine state. Yeah.
I think that's beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love seeing people in their true divine self. I try to do my best to practice that, because then you know the direction the healing is, and then you know what to speak to. If you, for example, standing up for yourself or the truth, you speak to their divine self, or you honor their divine self, you just see through everything. You say no to the everything that feels bad, because you only see the love. And yeah, that's something a lot of people also learn as well. I feel like that there's something below that surface.
Yeah, that's also a big theme of my week, is seeing people as divine and remembering that they are all on their own ascension path, even though it looks different or we're not. Maybe we don't have the same knowledge of what it is truly to be on our ascension path. And yeah, it's just about not trying to do it for them, but just being yourself and knowing that it is enough to show people how it is done and how they can claim their power and claim their heaven on earth for themselves. And I think it has to do with the savior complex as well. Like when you understand your purpose with others and why compassion exists, like it all becomes clear what you have to do and how your relationships are supposed to be.
Yeah, it's just always being loyal to love, right? That's like one of the things that I always remember from the TFAS classes is Jeff. In one class, Jeff says he's just always loyal to love. He says, I'm not even loyal to Jeff. I'm just loyal to the love within Jeff. And then he's loyal to the love, within others, and just God, just loyal to God. Yeah. How's everyone feeling?
I'm not feeling anything. Go on.
Compassionate.
Compassionate.
Yeah, I feel
Wonderful.
Yes. Yeah, I feel like it really helps to have all the judgment or hate or all this stuff helps out of the world if we focus on this. Yeah, it's really important for us.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I'm grounding in this new lesson. And so I'm in a bit of upheaval, like I'm freezing the way I was before completely and just welcoming the new, and that the sermon really helped me recognizing what is the new, basically.
I love that. yeah, we're just going deeper here together. It feels really good. Yeah. It's a beautiful lesson. Mm-hmm. I know, like for me, when I come onto these lives, I always have like a lot of nervousness, a lot of feelings that come up.
Yeah.
And so I'm like constantly choosing to have compassion for myself here.
Yeah.
And knowing that we're growing here, and yeah, it's a healing experience, and it feels really good to do it with you guys. Yeah.
Wanted to share, even the beginning, even the discussion groups, I had so many anxiety just to join the discussion groups, like, and Ajahn was actually the host of my first discussion group. So after a while and healing it, I just didn't even notice anymore. I just love to be in the discussion groups, and it's really about being compassionate. And sometimes when I'm working, working in divine gaming, sometimes it's hard for me to communicate something, like to say something, and it takes sometimes a while for me to heal and love myself, to go there and like, hey, I'm feeling this way, or you know uh, I need to talk about something. But it's really about you just keep loving yourself and nurturing yourself, that eventually the, the more that you do your healing, you're not going to uh, experience that anymore. You're going to feel complete in that area that needed love. Yeah.
So true.
I think it speaks to one of Ajah's points as well. I think we expect of ourselves to be perfect when we come on these lives or in the discussions, and it's actually the perfectionism that isn't compassionate for ourselves, and we forget that we are already perfect in that moment, and that everything else is a learning and growing experience, as Charlie said. And yeah, but it's really beautiful to kind of relax into what it is truly about.
Yeah, like the reason why so many people leave this path is because they haven't learned to be compassionate with themselves yet. They haven't uh, like nurtured that that quality within them, to keep moving forward. I had to learn a lot to be compassionate with myself in the past few months, and and I'm still going deeper with that. And if I didn't have all this compassion that I have for myself, I wouldn't be here continuing this path, like, because it's really important to have that compassion, and on your journey, and recognizing that you don't need to know everything right away. You are learning, and it's God's job to show you the path. It's not your job, and you just surrender to it.
Yeah, this is so true what you're saying. Like, amen. Like, what you don't need, like, often people live this path and it kind of seems like a brutal decision in some way, whereas you don't need to rush into a decision. You just need to uh, kind of ask God to reveal the truth and be compassionate. Like, am I going to give this path a chance? Am I going to give myself a chance? And see for yourselves, like, step by step, uh, where is your true calling, and not giving up.
How do we check if we have comments? Like if anyone has questions or something? I don't know.
Well, yeah. I can look on my
So technical over here.
Let's see. I don't see any questions.
Oh
yeah, just
hear myself. Relax.
Yeah.
I think we've done about like 45 minutes. So do you guys feel complete? Do you have any closing comments? A cat.
I feel pretty complete. Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like we had a good discussion, and here's Charlie's cat saying hi.
Aw, that's precious.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's cute.
no, I feel complete. Yeah, I just enjoyed being here with you guys today and like going deeper and really integrating, like Yoreen said, integrating the the healing that we received from the sermon, and no, it feels really good. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel complete too.
Me too.
Well, thank you all for watching. See you next time.
Oh, I forgot we were hosting.
Well, I think we need some kind of.
Yes. Thank you all for watching After Church Tea Time, and we will see you next Sunday. There you go.
Bye-bye.